of the Professional Development Committee, and we created this session so that it can assist and educate young professionals, students, and anyone for that matter, as speaking in the public forum is becoming very common. Whether it be at school, at work, or even at club, at some point in your life, you would have to speak publicly and address an audience. We saw that persons often struggle with the confidence of speaking in a public forum, and we decided to create a session where they can be educated on the do's and don'ts of public speaking, as well as learning tips and tricks to assist where necessary. Today, we have two lovely and experienced ladies who will take us on an educational journey this evening, and we do wish that at the end of this session, you would be able to take away something with you regarding public speaking. So without further ado, I will now hand you over to Assistant Secretary Maya Kelman for housekeeping. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. With protocol being established, I am Assistant Secretary Maya. And prior to diving into this afternoon's proceedings, I'd like to draw to your attention a number of housekeeping matters for you to observe and adhere to. Firstly, turn on your camera. That's encouraged throughout the session. Secondly, please ensure your microphone is on mute throughout the presentations. Ensure all background noises are at a minimum. And lastly, use the raise hand function or drop your questions for the panel in the chat. That concludes the housekeeping matters, and I will now turn over to Rotaract Leah to make the presentation on the first bio.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Maya. To introduce panelist Melissa Savory Jones. Melissa Savory Gittins has been a Toastmaster for the past 8 years, and as a charter member of 2 Toastmasters clubs, the Eastern Orators and Fusion. She has served in varying capacities within the club, up to president and club sponsor, while mentoring many along the way. She is currently pursuing level 2 of the presentation mastery path within the Pathways program, and has completed the dynamic leadership path and is well on her way to becoming a distinguished Toastmaster. Melissa is passionate about helping others however she can, especially the youth, ensuring they achieve their greatest potential as our future leaders. Melissa is fun, outgoing, and is always looking for the areas where she can improve her own personal development. She loves to cook, and according to her family, she does a good job, but they may be biased. One of her favorite quotes by Confucius is, "Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." Ms. Gittins, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I now invite PM Laisha to introduce our next panelist.
Good evening. Okay, Melanie. Melanie Goodrich is an ambitious young lady with a passion for mental health service and seeing a person become the best versions of themselves. With an academic background in psychology, sociology, and counseling, Melanie has volunteered her skills in various organizations across the island, touching lives and giving hope wherever she goes. Melanie is known for always being the light in the room. As a proud Rotaractor, she has held the role of Community Service Director for 2020-2021 and currently holds the titles of Community Service Liaison Officer on a district team and Interact Liaison Officer on a local team. She is also a proud and active member of the Best Side Toastmasters Club, where she sits on the executive team as Vice President of Membership. Melanie stays committed to giving her best in all that she does, while balancing her full-time and part-time jobs. In her free time, she enjoys reading and sitting quietly on the floor with a scented candle. Apart from that, just myself, my name is Laisha. I'm PM Laisha. Okay, the floor now, thank you, Melanie. The floor now for you, both Melanie and Melissa.
Thank you once again. All right, so let's get started. Who's excited? No one? Let me try it again. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Who
can.
is it? Let's do this.
Yes. Who's excited?
Me.
But I don't see you well, so I'm not excited.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I wish you much better.
Thank you.
Nevertheless, this evening, hopefully, I have to say hopefully because, I may be excited and think I have this down pat, and then you go like, what is she doing? So I'm going to start you off with an icebreaker. So just get a piece of paper, any piece of paper, a plain piece of paper for me, a pen, a pencil, a crayon, a marker, whatever you wish, just something to write with. And tell me when you have that and we'll get started.
Ready when you are.
Right? And I need cameras on as well because I need to see what you put on this paper when you're done. Do not be shamed about what you put on your paper. I'm telling you in the early. So you need to turn your cameras on and show me your papers when you're all finished. I'm going to give persons one. I see somebody walking around trying to find papers. I'm going to give you another minute or so to get your papers together. This is for you, okay? This is not for me, so I'm not going to show you what I draw on my paper. Kavita, you have your papers yet? Okay, she has a whole book. I love it. All right, wonderful. So let's get started. So this is called the pig personality test. All right. It's a fun icebreaker. So I want you to draw a pig. I think each of us would know what a pig looks like, right? You could draw a pepper pig, you could draw a proper pig, you could draw any kind of pig you want to. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to draw a pig. Any size, any shape, any fashion. Just draw your pig. Let's go. Time starting now. How are those pigs coming along?
Not good at all.
Don't mind Rachel. Don't mind. Like I said, this is your pig. We are not judgmental here. Well, I'm not for sure. So just draw your pig. How are those pigs coming along?
Oh, that's cute, Rochelle.
Aw, that is so nice.
Thanks, guys, but I know that that's not true. God, this is awful.
That is
This
a
look
cute
like Peppa
pig.
Oh, that's
Pig.
not awful. Mine looks like a horse.
Let me see some more pigs. Show me some other pigs.
Little pig.
Miranda, okay, nice, nice. Miranda has a wing for the pig. I'm trying to figure out that's a fat wing thing. This is something that pig. Okay, all right. Let me see your pig, Kavita. Pig face.
Siobhan.
What's the body for the pig?
Me and Siobhan pig are related.
Corey. I when my Corey use technology. Get in there, Corey.
You
You want to play upon the pen.
Tracers.
We join on our very good, Corey. Let's see that in there. Who else? Janelle just so you put a pig. Let me see. Wait, hold on. Wait, Janelle just disappeared. Wait, hold on. Janelle looking for you again. Okay, find you again. Go, Janelle. Let me see this pig now. I can't see it, Janelle. Okay, we gotta back off a little bit more. Okay, she's gonna start that out and show me her pig. Crystal, coming to you, Crystal, with that pig. Oh man, Crystal, look at I want that pigtail. That pigtail look real good there. I like that pig, Crystal. Very good. Who else? Any other pigs? You have to turn your cameras on so you can see the pigs. Give me 2 more pigs quickly. Okay, Leah, let me see that pig. Now, Leah got a proper pig there, boy. Leah, that pig can talk and everything.
Wow.
Jaleesa, you like things big. I can see you were like me. Yeah, so that's a very nice pig. All right. So now that we have all seen, whoa, Tate. I just see a Tate. Tate, let me see your pig. Oh man, you copied that. You traced that pig. That pig too perfect. That's a perfect pig. All right. So now that we have all seen those lovely pigs, I am going to tell you what the pig analysis is. Okay. Now, it may be accurate or not, but I'm not the scientist, but this is what the scientists say. And Mia has, our dear Honorable Prime Minister, have been saying, trust the science. All right. So we're going to trust the science today. And if your pig is drawn towards the top of the paper, you have a tendency to be positive and optimistic. If your pig is drawn towards the middle, you have a tendency to be a realist. If it's drawn at the bottom, you have a tendency to be a pessimist and may be prone to behaving negatively. I hope no one has their pig drawn at the bottom of the page. If your pig is facing left, you tend to believe in traditions and be friendly. If it's facing right, to be innovative and active, but prone to forgetting dates easily. If you have a forward-facing pig, you have a tendency to be direct and may enjoy playing the role of the devil's advocate. I like to do that. So if you have a pig with many details, you tend to be analytical, but may also be prone to being cautious to the point that you struggle with trust. If you have a pig with less than 4 legs, and I know I saw some pigs without any legs there, it may indicate that you are living through a major period of change, and as a result, you may be prone to struggling with insecurities. If you have a pig with 4 legs, you have a tendency to be secure and to stick to your ideals. However, others may describe you as stubborn. If your pig have large ears, it indicates that you're a good listener. If it has a long tail, it indicates how intelligent you are. So remember, this is all about science. This is not my views. This is the scientist. So you have to decide if you want to trust the science or not. Okay? So thank you for taking part in that little icebreaker. I hope that you enjoyed it. And we are going to move into the real reason we are here this evening to speak to you. And I'm going to hand over to Melanie, who is going to tell you what public speaking really is. So finding comfort in public speaking today, and Melanie Goodrich, our Toastmaster, I'm going to call her Toastmaster today and not go to rap. She's going to tell you what public speaking is. Over to you.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you so much for that icebreaker. Good evening, everybody. As mentioned, I am Melanie Goodrich. So I'm going to give you just a short definition of what public speaking is, a dictionary definition, and just a basic layman terms definition of what public speaking is. Public speaking is also called oratory or oration. Has traditionally meant to be the act of speaking face-to-face to a live audience. Today, it includes any form of speaking to an audience, including pre-recorded speeches delivered over a great distance, as we are doing today via technology. It should, however, be noted that public speaking goes far beyond prepared speeches. Public speaking is speaking in meetings, being called upon to say a prayer at the last minute at a function. Public speaking is even ordering from a menu. You're interacting, you're speaking, and you are basically branding yourself as you speak. So that in a nutshell is public speaking. We speak publicly literally every day. So to get us started, Melissa is going to share on this.
So yes, I'm going to ask you one question. You can tell me however you feel about it. What are your biggest concerns when it comes to public speaking? Just open up your mic and just tell us, what are your biggest concerns?
Forgetting what to say.
Getting what to say?
Like blanking out. Like when you see the audience and you know you have to say something, but then you just went blank for a minute. So, yeah.
Right. For me, it would be fumbling.
For me, it will be losing my place. If it's something that I have to read, it will be like skipping a line and then it doesn't make any sense anymore when I have to glance down at it.
Not
Okay.
knowing what to do with your hands or body, especially in certain points of the presentation when you feel like you are kind of playing with your hands or moving around a little too much, it's like knowing what to do with yourself while speaking.
Too many arms.
Too many arms. I have been a Toastmaster for a long time and I still have some arms. I don't know if you ever get rid of that, but yeah, okay. Anyone else?
Forgetting just what to say.
All right.
To me, it's calming your nerves. It's just be nervous all around.
All right. All right. So we're gonna help address some of those issues for you today. But before we do that, Melanie is going to tell you how she has felt, how she has found comfort in public speaking, because the whole thing is to be comfortable when you're speaking. And I'm still not comfortable when I'm speaking. It depends on the situation that I'm in, especially when I have speech contests and so on. I may start off a little bit shaky, but then I catch my ground. So I don't think there's ever you can ever get perfect at it, but you can get better at it as you go along. So Melanie, over to you. Tell us how you have found comfort in your public speaking.
Well, first, let me say it was Jalissa, I think, that said it. Jalissa Kate. The nerve, they don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere at all, but you can use them to propel you whenever you're speaking. If you're nervous about something, in my mind, when I'm nervous, really, really nervous about something, it means that I'm excited and I'm passionate about it and I don't want to make mistakes about it. Use that passion to drive your speech home. That is important. Me, as Corey mentioned, what do you do with your hands? I do this a lot. When I first started speaking, I just talk with my hands. I'm very animated, so I be all over the place. So I make sure that I either wear something with pockets, and sometimes I would tuck my hands into my pockets to reduce them moving all over the place. Or I will have whatever I'm using to point to my screen. I will have that in my hand occasionally. So it allows me to use my hands, but it is not to the point where it's completely distracting or a nuisance to the audience. So I practice. That's one of the things that get me to a level of comfort. I practice my speech. I practice in the mirror a lot. I record myself so I can hear how I'm going to sound. Or sometimes I will have a friend and I will bounce that speech off to someone so they could tell me, you got just what I did. You got a lot of arms in your speech. So those are the things I do to get to my comfort level whenever I have to speak. Melissa?
Thank you. For me, in terms of me finding comfort, I use a lot of personal stories. So even in Toastmasters, we have to prepare speeches on a regular basis. I use personal stories because the thing about using a personal story is that you know your story. Nobody else knows your story. So if you make a mistake, who knows? You do. You don't say, I'm sorry. You're sorry for what? No one knows that you're gonna make a mistake unless you told them you just sold yourself out. So you don't do that. You use personal stories which hit home to people as well as to yourself, and it's easy to flow right through them. And especially, so if I move into now from Toastmasters into public speaking, if your boss calls on you to make a presentation or something, if you are a subject matter expert, it's easier as well, because again, you know the topic. So you always make sure you research your topics well, know what you're saying. So it's easier once you know that topic. Even if you lose yourself, you can catch yourself back. So some person earlier said that they may have a problem losing their place. So if you have like a bio to read, before I would come here, I would write that bio twice, 3 times, 4 times. So I get comfortable with the bio. So that when I come to read it, even if I lose my place, I kind of know where it goes from there, so I can pick back up without fumbling too much in a case like that. So preparation is one of the key things that makes all of these things a little less hard to do. All right. So let's get into the meat of the matter. And we all know, as I said earlier, good communication is essential to everyday life. So therefore, knowing what to do or what not to do will help make the process 100% easier. So showing up to give what you know is important. So again, like I said earlier, your boss calls on you, church calls on you, Rotaract calls on you to make a presentation. They're inviting you to speak because they think that you have something to give or to share. Therefore, we are going to help you to do with the do's and don'ts so that you can appear relaxed and more confident even when you're shaking on the inside. So one of the first things that we should know is don't be late. Yes, we say a 3 o'clock start, but make sure you're there at least by 2:30. That gives you a little time to relax, catch yourself. If you have anything to do, get it done. Don't be late. Don't read from notes because that can be very, very distracting sometimes. And if you lose your place while you're reading from notes, it's hard to catch back. So you can use like cue cards, and on those cue cards, you can put points. And on those points, you know what you're gonna say. So if I have a point, the pig, I know, okay, I'm gonna talk all about the pig. So when I see the pig, just talk about the pig. When I see the goat, talk about the goat, all the way down the line. That makes it easier to do. The arms and the fillers, we can remove those by putting pauses. So if I'm not sure what I'm gonna say, so say it might be easier to just say nothing. Just pause a little bit, gather your thoughts quickly, not a very long space. Just gather your thoughts quickly and get back to what you were saying. And don't wing it. Winging it is for professionals. I don't even try to wing it. I can be going to Toastmasters now, and like I said, I've been doing this for 8 years, and I know that I'm the grammarian for the evening. I still go and read what it means to be the grammarian because I want to make sure I'm always prepared. Girl Scout, be prepared. So make sure you're always prepared, know what you have to do, and have papers in front of you if necessary. I always like scrap paper. I have piece here so I can always scribble down anything to make any adjustments I have to make along the way. Don't back your audience when presenting. And most of these things that I'm giving you are for face-to-face presentations, but I'm also going to give you some tips for Zoom and presentations like this that we're doing today, because now this is the new norm. So we have to get into making sure that we are also ready to present. So if I'm speaking to you and I am talking like this, and then so we're not going to back our audience or look to the side or do anything weird because see, she's talking to me or talking to somebody else. You say, oh gosh, she's talking to out there. So those things are very distracting. Make sure you have make eye contact. Now, eye contact can be very nerve-wracking. So if you like my beautiful face, so like Kavita is there sitting with me and nodding with me and smiling with me, I might focus on Kavita. So they said, okay, at least I know one, but here they're listening, is Kavita. So I'm gonna focus on Kavita and I'm gonna have a discussion with Kavita, which makes life easier for me because I just feel like Kavita is just my friend. I just talking to Kavita, I can do this. Now that I see Siobhan's face, I might not decide to talk to her instead. But I'm saying just focus on somebody in your audience that you feel comfortable and relaxed with that you can speak to. Melanie, any do's for us while we are here?
Yes, definitely. So Melissa just mentioned not backing your audience. So it's important that you engage your audience at all times. Your audience need to understand that you're speaking with them. You're having a conversation with them. So going into any kind of presentation, you want to know your audience. You need to understand your audience. What message am I driving home today? What type of presentation am I doing? So you know who you are presenting to. It's also important that you speak loudly. You don't want to have a situation, and clearly as well, you don't want a situation where you have persons in the back and they can't hear you. Because you know what's going to happen? They're going to be in the back yelling, "Why can't I hear you?" The people in the middle gonna be distracted because the people in the back yelling. So no, the people in the middle can't hear you neither. And the people at the front that can hear you vexed because the people in the middle grumbling. So you want to make sure that every single person in the room can hear you. How you do this? Know your location setup. Go to your location beforehand if it is possible, and you do a sound check. You have take along a friend, take along a club member, a workmate, whoever is there with you, and have that person stand in the dead back of the room and you project your voice. You don't want to yell. Yelling really doesn't, it's not very tactful. You want to be able to project your natural voice if you are not using a mic. If you're using a mic, you keep at a moderate tone so that you don't sound like you're shouting into the mic. As well, Melissa mentioned something else, backing your audience. There's ways to move around when you're making a presentation. You're making a presentation and you want to go from one side of the stage to the next. How do I get to the other side without backing them? You do side steps around. You can back your screen if that's what you need to do, but you don't ever back your audience. Melissa, back at you.
Thank you. All right, so also don't run over time. If you were told that you have 5 minutes, let it be 5 minutes. Better yet, let it be 4 minutes and 55 seconds. It's bad etiquette to run over time. So what you do beforehand, you practice your presentation. You walk through your presentation on your own. You try to see how long that presentation would be. And then if you need to cut out some, add in more, whatever the case may be, but always practice your presentation beforehand. Make sure that in terms of a Zoom presentation, you call a friend and say, meet me on Zoom. I want to test presenting. I want to test sharing my screen. I want to test my audio, anything like that you do beforehand to ensure that you do not run over time. And a big one, do not panic. It is natural to panic. You would want to go to the restroom right before you have to speak, but there's nothing in there to come out. It's all out already. So don't rush to the restroom. Sit in a cool spot. Wear something that is comfortable that you can present in without having to be tugging at it all the time, or a short skirt and you have to be constantly pulling it down. A shirt for the guys that is too tight, or the tight that is too close up to your neck and you have to keep adjusting it and clearing your throat because it's too tight on you. So these are all the don'ts. Make sure you're comfortable in your clothing. Make sure that you are ready. Fidgeting. I have that here on my list. Someone said fidgeting and fumbling. What do you do with your hands in a case like that? If you're presenting, you may be using the name, can't remember, a pointer, right? So if you have a presentation, you may have a clicker, pointer, whatever. You have that in your hand, so that reduces the fidgeting with the hands and not knowing what to do with your hands. Well, you're not pressing the button, you put your hands at your side or you keep your hands in front of you. That's the easiest thing to do. Just put them together, fingers together, put them in front of you, and as you speak, you can use your hands. It's just that you don't want to be constantly doing this. If I was sitting down here talking to you and every minute I just doing this, you'd be saying, what is she doing? Because you'd be concentrating not on what I'm saying, you'd be mainly concentrating on my hands and how they're moving from side to side, but it would be distracting. So just put your hands together, but you can use gestures. Gestures help bring the point across. So using gestures is important, but just not too many of them. Using jokes is fine, but just make sure your jokes are appropriate for the topic and for the time. So if I came to this meeting, for instance, and say something about Black people, Black people may get offended, although I may be Black myself. It might not be funny. It might be funny, but not to some person who is, that's the word I want to use. They have some people that are really Black, back to Africa kind of thing. So when I say really Black, I don't mean in terms of skin color, but in terms of that. I can't find the words, but you can put the words right there for me. And they have some people that are not. So you have to know your audience and know what may be appropriate and not appropriate to use. So if you're going to use jokes, just make sure that they're appropriate. And if you're going to use quotes, make sure that your quotes are also appropriate and relate to the topic at hand. Because if I just give you a random Martin Luther King quote right now, and you say, what's the purpose of that quote? So just make sure that those things are all there. And also, if I was chewing gum or in here right now, so inappropriate. We don't eat, we don't chew gum. The most thing you might do is take a sip of water, because obviously from talking a lot, your throat can get dry. So you can have some water, but not to drink a whole bottle of water, gulp it down, and then you go up the stairs, you go to the bathroom. So we're not going to do that. And my last don't is, don't beat yourself up if things don't go as planned. You have a plan, we all do. It's got plans too. When they go to any presentation, they say this is how it can be. But then things happen, things change. You can forget some of your speech. The audience may not be giving you that feedback that you want. So you're speaking to people and they're saying that you live this. And then you're saying to yourself, they're not feeling you. They may be, but because you're not getting that feedback from them, you get disheartened and you think, my speech didn't come off as planned. So if your speech doesn't come off as planned, don't be dismayed. These things happen, and you always have a second chance to redeem yourself the next time around. Melanie, any other do's for us?
Yes, I do. I saw someone had mentioned that they weren't hearing me clearly. Can you hear me better now? I think it was Donna. So if you still aren't hearing me clearly, just let me know before I go on.
Yes, Julie, so thank you, Pro Black.
So I take it that you can hear me a lot better now. Great. So one of the other things that you want to pay attention to when you're speaking is, I would have said, know your audience. So you got to know if your audience is going to know acronyms or not, abbreviation to words. You don't want to come and use terms like, for me in particular, I have a nasty habit when I'm speaking about mental health disorders about abbreviating them. So sometimes I'm telling somebody about PTSD and they're looking at me like, what was that? I don't know what you're talking about. I know it, but I can't guarantee that my audience does. So I need to explain what post-traumatic stress disorder is. So Donna is telling me she still can't hear me. Is Donna the only person who can't hear me? Oh, great. Starting to feel like I was shouting. Great that you can hear me now. So you want to pay attention to the terms that you use when you are speaking. If you're having a presentation for children, you're not going to come out here and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. You done lost the children about listening to you. You want to find things that are engaging. You want to play games. You want to have videos. So it is one of those very, very important. It's a basic thing to any presentation. Know who you are speaking to. When you are called upon in a meeting, you are not going to refer to your boss unless that's standard within your company as Bill. You and Bill just pitch marbles in a meeting. Y'all might pitch marbles or play a little dominoes after work at a lunch, and that's fine. But you have a formal meeting, you're making a presentation, and you come in there, good morning, Bill. You and Bill in a friends? Not in this setting. So you need to pay attention to those kind of things. Know your environment and know best how to address your audience whenever you're speaking. One of the other things that's important is to know the environment that you are presenting in. Now for females, you're giving a presentation at an open air event and you win hoodie and you got on a little mini skirt. Problems. Because on your way up, who knows? That might be the moment the wind blow. And everybody see what little underwear or what underwear you have on, period. You embarrassed. No, you're gone. You know start and you got jitters on top of jitters because, oh dear, what do I do now? Everybody see. Dress for the occasion is important. Again, for females, you don't want to have your bust area exposed. It's distracting. So the person at the front can see all your breasts. Nobody ain't paying attention because we are quite distracted with what's going on there. And you want people looking here. You want people listening to what you have to say. Be confident. Melissa mentioned it. Only you know what you're talking about. Walk into the room being the expert, believing that you are the expert. So the audience there because they want to know what you are talking about. If they weren't interested in what you were speaking about, they won't come. Because I ain't going to a presentation that I got all the information on already.
Don't be
So-
overconfident, no, Melanie. Don't be overconfident to the point where you're cocky.
No, I'm not
Remember
saying
that
definitely
too.
not. I'm definitely not saying be overconfident or to the point that you're cocky, but you need to be confident. If I feel as if I'm in the audience and I feel as you are not delivering, you are not excited, you are uncertain, then I feel like I don't think this is the best person to be sharing this information with me. I'm not getting the takeaway that you had in mind. It's also important that there are going to be questions. Bear in mind, there are going to be questions at some point throughout any presentation. You want to keep your answers as short as you possibly can. One person may ask a question and it may be another 2 or 3 persons in the audience who are interested in that answer, but not your entire audience. So if you spend over 5-10 minutes explaining this and going down the road, giving a long-winded answer to this question, you've lost part of your audience. So you want to answer the question, keep the answer as short as possible. And if the person who would have asked the question feels like there's more to it and they want to know more, you can say to them, after the presentation, you can talk to me one-on-one and let's have a further conversation about this. So those are really just the basics of public speaking, and we could go on and on and on because there's so much. But as you speak, as you build your confidence, there are a lot of other tips that you will pick up. Melissa?
Someone asked Chanel, I want to make sure I pronounce her name correctly. She asked, what
Yes,
are
that's
tips for
correct.
persons who lose their voice? Right, so just take a sip of water. Sometimes that helps. It could be annoying hearing somebody every minute say, you're not starting the car. So just try taking a sip of water, taking a swallow, taking a deep breath and continuing on. Try the water. I think that's the best thing, but to be constantly clearing your throat and saying, excuse me, excuse me, it's quite annoying. So let's try the water and see how that works. And in terms of posture, someone's asked about posture. Zoom meetings for sure. Persons do a lot of sitting, but if I am doing a presentation or a speech for that matter, and I know what I'm speaking about, I stand because I like to stand. I like the feeling of standing to make a presentation. I don't want to get into the habit of sitting, but because this is a Zoom meeting and we're actually doing a presentation, very easy to use the computer and so on, I'm sitting for this. But I try to sit again and not. You sit erect if you're back up, you know, make sure that you're comfortable in terms of a face-to-face presentation. Again, make sure you stand and don't stand stuck behind the podium or lectern. Move around, but not to the point where it's distracting. You know, walk. So if you have a crowd on this side, you walk on this side, you speak to those people, you walk back to the middle, you speak to those, you walk to the right, you speak to those. So everyone can feel it if they are part of what you're saying. Yes, Rachel.
Hi, I know you guys gave some tips about practicing and speaking before, but for me, I find that one of my weaknesses with making presentations is that I speak quickly. I know that this is a me thing that I need to work on, but I just want to know if you have like any tips on how to, other than practicing, because even though I know the content, I just want to get over and done with it. And sometimes I will find that I just want to get out of the limelight. So I just want to get it out and move on. Do you have like any tips for persons who may also have that same issue in terms of speaking quickly?
I have the same issue as you. I speak very quickly, especially if I know what I want to say. So what I try to do, since I know that I speak quickly, I mentally slow it down. Every time I start, I catch myself, I remember, slow it down, slow it down. And I actually use my hand as a beat. Obviously, people can't see my hand in that situation, or if I'm face to face, I may do a little. I know that's my rhythm to keep myself at a constant pace as opposed to just, and I speak quickly to the point where people are like, huh? So find a way, like use my as a rhythm for myself. That may not work for you, but mentally think about it and know that I'm going to speak quickly and to naturally slow it down. Get someone, even like on Zoom calls or presentations that I'm doing, I usually will have someone tell me, they'll message me and say, slow. And I will smile to myself and say, okay, pull it back, draw it back. So say if you're presenting, get someone who's on your team to say to you, slow down. Mentally tell yourself, okay, I have to slow down, and find some other way. Like I said, I tap, I do, but not tap to the point that I hear talking to you, you hear this tapping. I do something for myself in a personal way where persons don't know that I am doing this for me to help me with my presentation. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Melanie, there's a question here. You want to address, Zaria?
Whenever you touch base on the posture during a presentation, whenever I'm presenting, I often trip over my words. Zaria, mute your mic and explain to me. You're tripping over your words in what way?
Hi, good evening. Like I would have my notes typed out and stuff, but I speak so quickly sometimes I miss out words and stuff like that.
So you're playing yourself whenever you have a presentation that you're reading from a script?
Yes.
Okay. So what you would want to do in a case like this is practice and memorize your key points. It's okay to read. When you are nervous, you want to have notes there that you can fall back on. But it's also important that if you memorize some of your speech, it avoids the tripping, because even though you don't have to have the exact words, and that's where if we have a script, that's where we get caught up with having the exact words, but you have the idea that you want to put across. And when you memorize that, you know the idea that you're pushing for, so you can put it in any words and it makes sense. You can tell me if that's making sense to you.
Yes, it made a lot of sense.
Okay.
All right. So, like we said before, don't memorize word for word. You're not memorizing word for word. And when you're presenting, like I said, I prefer cue cards, but if you have a piece of paper like this, which I do not recommend, cue cards look a lot neater, more professional, and they're not very expensive. You can just go and buy a pack from any bookstore and you write down points, not the whole entire speech. Practice using points as you go along. And if you reading from a piece of paper and I'm speaking to you and I'm saying to you, do not forget, fumbling, I'm not paying attention to you. So you want to maintain that eye contact. So it's best to have, like I said, a cue card or something and to practice your speech beforehand. I see Siobhan's hand is raised. Yes, Madam Siobhan.
But when you're so nervous that you can't even see your notes anymore, so like you're just looking down, but everything just looks like a blur. What would you do? What to do? Because I find sometimes if I'm really, really nervous, I will look down and it's like the word's not there anymore.
You go in, you have an idea of what you're going to speak about, not so?
Yes.
And this is where you tap into your knowledge of what of your topic. So you're looking at your words and you're seeing absolutely nothing. But I'm here to tell you, to give you updates. Say you're giving an update for club. You know what your update is. You're giving an update for Pro Dev. You know exactly what your update is. You may not remember. In that moment, you're like, oh shoot, well, I can't remember time. Be quick on your feet. You remember the day, go with the day. Time to be determined. Because if you try to stand there, you're going to fumble like, I know it's Saturday, but oh shoot, it's 2:30 or it's 3:30. We're trying to say. We have finding comfort in public speaking coming off this Saturday. The time to be published, or you can refer to the bulletin for the time. So it gives you an opportunity to escape fumbling the time in that moment.
Thank you, Mel.
You are
All right, I would also answer that and to say, breathe. Take a deep breath in, take one out. You need to calm yourself first. Calm yourself throughout the process and find your mechanism may be. If you love soca, play some soca right before. Have a bashment party wherever you are in the bathroom before you go there, and just breathe, calm yourself, and in and out. Breathing helps a lot. Like I said, having a sip of water, walk with a towel, a small one that is, because you're not going to have a shower. You're just going to make sure you keep yourself dry. And that helps. Meditate, whatever it may be that is your wusha. I call it the wusha. Yoga, whatever you may need to do to keep that calmness there, try it. Try the breathing exercises, try listening to some music. But like you said, during the speech itself, just take a deep breath. People understand. People know that you're not perfect, and you know you're not the number one speaker in the world. You're just here giving a presentation. Breathe. Take that pause that you need and breathe. And remember, nerves is a natural thing we all have them. We all have them. All right. Another thing is, do not lie to get your audience to like your story. So if you have a story that you're telling, don't tell a lie. Be truthful, or just change the story. Find something else to do, to say. Don't lie, because you don't know who you're going to meet in your life and say, I remember you. Your story is so impactful. You can go, what story? You have no clue what you would have said during that point in time. So make sure your stories are all honest and truthful. I saw another hand raised. Let me see.
That was Kareem.
Hi, Kareem.
Oh yes, hi everyone. Great presentation so far. When you touched on the one about the nerves, that hit home for me, because Rasha would know that before like our ACC exams, you should know what I had to do before my ACC exam, so I understand the nerves bit. I had a question. As you can hear, I have an accent. Just wanted to know if you have any tips for persons from a different country who are speaking to another country, and how to cope with presenting with the accent.
Slow it down. That's the best way. Slow it down and enunciate your words as best as you can, because we in Barbados don't think we have an accent, but we do. So we have to learn to slow it down and make sure we emphasize, we pronounce those THs and TORs, evaluate TORs, and the thes as opposed to Ds. That is Barbados I'm speaking about. I don't know what are your words that you may use wrong, but those are some that we do here. So we spoke about the this and the that, the man down the road, the man. So things like that. When we are speaking,
Yeah, to.
so there are words like that we hear in Barbados. I don't know what your words may be, like I said, but those are things that we do here, and we have to remember when we are speaking to people outside that. And then when you try to speak that way, people may say, you want to talk great? No, I want to speak English. So you have to just remember you are speaking English, people. All right. So just pronounce those words, the THs, the ORs, and that would help. And just slow down.
Thank you.
Hope that was helpful to you.
Okay, thank you so much. I do see there are two more questions, actually one more question in the chat. We're actually going into our question and answer segment. So this was a perfect little segue into that. Many of you have already dropped your questions in the chat. Adi Keisha has a question about speaking at the last minute. Many of us in Rotaract have been voluntold to. So that's a really good question. Any tips?
I can give you some, and then we'll leave Melanie give you some as well, because you can see she's itching to answer that for you.
First time, Melissa.
So in terms of impromptu speaking, always have a format. Always have a format. And what anybody can tell me, what is the format for a speech? Come on, somebody.
Opening, introduction, body, conclusion.
Yeah, so the opening slash introduction, about the conclusion. That is your format. Don't care what you are doing. This is what you do. You have an opening, you have a body, you have a conclusion. Impromptu speaking, you also always have a side story. And you can take that side story and you can twist it and turn it and make it into what you want what you want it to be. And the bus and the arms in between. In Toastmasters, we have a lot of impromptu speaking, and in breakout sessions, we're going to do that with you, which we call them table topics. And in those table topics, impromptu speaking, don't know what the topic is going to be. We randomly give you a topic and you have to stand and speak on that topic for 2 to 3 minutes. Impromptu speaking. Always have a side story.
It's not going to be so hard on you guys with the 2 minutes. Melissa, let's not be so hard with the 2 minutes.
And another tip too is also to ask, can you repeat that question? You're buying yourself some time. Can you repeat that question? Just so you're thinking, you know, your brain turning over fast to make sure that you can find something to say. So you make sure you always have a format and always have a quick quote. Find a quote that you know well, 1 or 2, keep them to the back of your mind. And those quotes, always drop them somewhere in there. Drop them somewhere in there. And people say, she real good, yeah. This time you don't have a clue you just said, but you said something and it was good. Right, Rachel? Rachel love that. Okay. Melanie, you have anything to add to that?
Impromptu speaking, you call out last minute and laugh at yourself a little bit just to get yourself comfortable. So joke about it. You get up there and you're like, which will call me here? I'm gonna call me here about cackle. And it does not have to be anything that's so far-fetched that you give us awkward weird joke, but giggle at the fact like, whoa, these nerves got me good, or these girls got my legs here trembling on the spot. Just to give yourself a little wiggle room to feel comfortable. The audience gonna laugh. If you're presenting, if you're giving an announcement in front of your club members gonna laugh at you and you're gonna feel a little better. They're not gonna laugh at you in a way to make you feel bad, but they're laughing because like we're laughing with you and not at you. So you know, you get a little comfortable and you just deliver. You know what you're speaking of. Again, you know what you are speaking about. If you are giving committee updates, you have the information, you have it. Just remember that whenever you're called upon to speak. I have the information. The information is in my hand. It may take me a little longer to deliver it because I am nervous, but I got all the details on this. So I got this.
And always come prepared. So if you know that you may be called upon, be ready. You know that thing, I wasn't ready. But no, you will be ready because you are always prepared. All right? Always prepared. Keisha, I think we are ready to go into our breakout sessions where we will have some nice table topics ready for you. And you will be ready. Right, Rachel?
Before we go into that, we're actually really ahead of
time.
I think we're really a bit ahead of the curve. I have 2 more questions. One of them is how to combat the AMs. I think sometimes that really does get the best of us. And the second one is, how do you combat the nervousness that can prolong a speech past the time that you're allotted? I know you touched on this before. Most of us suffer from general anxiety. I do, being very open about my mental health. So how do you combat, okay, I've been put on the spot, I have to say something. I am extraordinarily nervous, so I end up talking. Last questions.
One of the other ways to combat that is to have a timer. So you either put your phone on silent or you just walk with a timing device. And when you stand to speak, from the time you stand to start, you hit start. And as you speak, you glance back at your timing device, or you ask some person in the audience to give you time checks. So at 5 minutes, well, that's something that I can see, and you know who you're looking at in the audience for that time check, because he may forget the time in the device and forget to even look at that. But if you looking out in the audience, use this purple thing in the air. So, oh shoot, that's for me. So you will have somebody up to the front to sit down and hold up a card to show you what time you're at to help you with the time. And as you can see, when you start to get to a certain time, you start to wind down your speech. So if you had 10 minutes and yours is 8 minutes and ramping up, ramp back down. we coming to an end. Melanie has something to add to that.
I do. You want to practice your speech and time yourself prior if you have the opportunity to do that. And that is, as I said before, it's very, very important. If you time your speech ahead of time, then you know when you've reached your time limit. You know what you can take out, you know what you can add in. And that gives you that room for comfort because you've prepared. You know that when you reach and you start to talk and you get all excited about your life story and how when you were 22, you was heading hard to do your master's and this is the excitement of your life and this when you meet the love of your life down at UE graduate school and you know that that's the key point. You know, all right, I reaching my peak. I got XYZ more points to do, so I wind down when I close my presentation with a hit. Practice, time it. That gives you the comfort that you need when you're presenting. If you want to wing it and you say, man, let's look like, I typed this out and this look like 5 minutes. You don't know what's going to happen on there. So what looks like 5 minutes on paper, turn into 10 minutes, but the people only give you 5 minutes to talk. So you know what you can do? You can rush your speech and lost the whole audience. Time it. Make the time ahead of time to time it. So you have the opportunity to look and see where you can add or where you can subtract.
Thank you for that. And so far, the session has been amazing. We're gonna head now to our case study activity. So I'm gonna hand over to Rotarator Corey Sobersmith, who's gonna give us a brief background on the case studies, and then we'll head out into our breakout rooms. Corey, over to you.
Thank you, Assistant Director Kavita. Hey everyone, I have to share my sentiments here as well. This was an awesome presentation thus far. I definitely got a lot of great tips. I hope you can remember them even on now as I speak to you in public speaking. Thank you again to our panelists, Melissa and Melanie. It was really insightful. And I'm more than happy to lead everyone now into the even more fun-based activity segment of this evening's presentation. So you guys will get to practice what you've just been introduced to by our panelists. You will be randomly segregated into 2 breakout rooms. You're going to see an invite come up very soon to pretty much invite you to head into this breakout room. You're going to be randomly assigned. What's going to happen is that our panelists will be in each room. There are 2 rooms. Our panelists will be in each one. They're going to pretty much give you all the details necessary to get into what we call, as well, they call them too, table topics. They are pre-selected topics to kind of give you guys practice into public speaking. Now, we as a committee actually created these topics. I won't share what they are now. I won't give you that advance notice, unfortunately. But what I can say is that some of them are very easygoing, very personalized. You can talk from your head, and then some others are a bit more challenging to put that practice into play. Because sometimes it'll be easy, sometimes it won't be. So you're getting that practice here and now. So I hope you guys enjoy. But just remember, it's all about being good fun, great practice, and just enjoy the moment. No pressure. All right, and this should be under 35 minutes, but like I said, you'll get all the details from your panelists in the rooms. So once you get that invite, just click yes and have fun with it. Hello, everyone again. I believe we're all back. Yep, that's Zoom for us. We're now back in the main call. I hope everyone really took the benefit of the activity session. I personally did. I got one topic in and I think it was not pretty bad. I'll wait for Melanie's comments offline. But just again, well, we have a thanks coming up, but just quickly for myself, just want to thank the panelists again for everything. It was really insightful activities, and just the whole practice of seeing everybody else and doing it for yourself, I think was really impactful again. So I really hope everyone really enjoyed the activity segment of this evening. But at this time now, I'd like to hand over to Director Siobhan Graham for the presentation of tokens and gifts. Siobhan?
Before we go to that, I had a brief video that I wanted to share. I don't think that Keisha would have told you guys. I forgot to share it earlier. Can I do that now?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, sure,
fine.
Melissa.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So we would have spoken earlier about the do's and don'ts, but then remember I had said I was going to get into the do's and the don'ts of Zoom. All right. Public speaking was one thing, but I said, remember, we have now a virtual setting and we need to have the do's and don'ts of that. So I'm going to quickly go through that with you. So while presenting virtually, always wear clothing. That's the first do. You might think it may be funny, but people actually go to meetings, might just wear a top and no bottom, or I think that their camera is off when it's really on. Also, ensure your mic is off at all times when not speaking, because sometimes you may have some cheeky things to say in the background, like, she's a foolish doll, and the microphone is on, and everyone is hearing what you're saying. Be mindful of your backgrounds, because my background right now is a plain background, because again, I'm in a professional setting. I could have decided, okay, I don't want that setting, and I could have chosen to put some other random background up that instead of paying attention to what I'm saying, you may be just looking at my background and having a fun laugh. So you couldn't hear anything that I'm saying. Also, make sure you look for a quiet spot for your meetings. So let your family know, my house in a big house, so I gotta let my family know, hey, I have a meeting. So disappear, right? Give me some space, give me some time. You can have back the space in a minute. So just let your family know, okay, I'm going to be in a meeting for a while. If you can, please keep it down. Try not to go by the window if possible, because you don't want the noise of the cars, or actually, neighbor, please not to cut the grass today around 1 o'clock because I'll be in a meeting. And do refrain from multitasking, because imagine you're in a meeting and you're looking all around and talking to everyone else. So people are paying attention to what you are doing as opposed to listening to the speaker. Do not, I repeat, do not take the device into the bathroom with you. It may be tempting, but do not do it. I know you don't want to miss anything that I'm saying. So you decide, you know what, I just want to get a quick one. I'm going to take the phone with me so I can hear what Melissa is saying, because she's doing such an awesome job. But no, don't do that. Just leave it and come back to it. All right. Make sure your device is charged and or plugged in. And if you're using a headset, because I've been in meetings and people have headsets on and they're saying, I can't hear you. But it's not that they can't hear us, it's that the headset is not working, or the mic on the device or the headset isn't working. So just make sure you check those things before you start the meeting. Don't wait until you have to actually present to realize my mic isn't working, I can't hear my headset. So again, join the meeting early and check all those things before. And don't be in a meeting, picking your nose and looking at the camera and pull out your eye. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do anything in a Zoom meeting that you would not do face to face, basically. If you wouldn't do it in a face-to-face meeting, don't do it in a Zoom meeting. So now I'm going to show you a quick video, which I thought is kind of funny, and I hope that you think it's a bit funny too, but it also helps me emphasize my points with the do's and don'ts of public speaking and Zoom meetings.
parte del desarrollo de dones solamente tenemos que registrar autonomía curricular y el área socioemocional de los niños, y esa parte está quedando bien. Perdón.
Will be done by ground carriers, so people won't be getting their medication dropped out of the sky into their mailbox just yet, but the companies do say they will scale up the program if it is successful, guys.
Very cool. We love it, Will. Thank you.
I think it really depends on just like the ethical standards of the profession. And in reality, I've heard that social work kind of has very high standards and like good standards in terms of things, and that oftentimes people don't, like people of other professions don't have. Yeah.
Hold on.
What happened?
I saw nothing. Oh my God,
Jennifer.
Obviously, and do stop me if you need to crack on. Do tell us.
What's his name?
My name is Christian.
His name is Christian. Christian.
Yes.
That's deciding where it comes up where Mummy wants it to go.
Oh right. Where does Mummy want it to go?
I think just on that show is great. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Already do it. Kids do it. YouTube Kids do it, and the BBC are also now embracing this. Why, and I apologise for my cat's tail, why are you not doing this by default? Rocco, could you tell them?
Yeah, whatever. Guys, we can hear your conversation and we don't want to. So
you can go hang out with Callista like you do in class every day.
I don't know about
When did you add her on social media?
Like literally 5 years ago, Natalia, before I ever knew you'd done that.
Hey, Natalia.
Oh, I wish I never met you.
Hey, Natalia. Natalia, can you mute yourself?
Vi har ikke fått alle detaljene, så det kommer mer detaljer på det på torsdag. Og som sikrer at selskapene nå får mer tilgang til penger gjennom.
That's how it's gonna. Let's make sure everybody has clothes on. Come on, guys.
Clint, no, your video is on.
They don't even have good regimens to keep the data to make sure that I'm sorry, the bird just landed on his head.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry,
All good.
Over.
All good.
Tony!
Can you hear us?
Tony!
Oh no! Don't, Jen, call him. Oh my gosh! Hold on, I'm gonna text a couple pictures of that. Oh. Oh.
Tony, I can see you.
We can all see you.
So what did you guys think about that? Do you want that to be you during your Zoom presentation?
It happened to me already, unfortunately, with my son.
Who did it happen to?
No, this is Shanisa speaking. Like, I had a presentation and my son was throwing a tantrum and I had to like stop and let somebody take over the presentation. That's how bad it
was. Okay. And how did that make you feel?
It made me feel embarrassed, but at least the next I knew that if I had anything important, I just took him to the caregiver, like today.
All right, very good. All right, so thank you so much. So I hope those tips on the Zoom meetings as well would help you. And I hope that this evening's presentation will help you become a little bit more confident and be able to know what definitely to do and what not to do in your daily lives and your presentations, wherever you may be. So back over to you,
Thank you, Melissa.
Director. Yes.
Appreciate it. I mean, personally, my goal is to never become a meme. That's a fear of mine, to never become a meme. I am so serious. That is a fear. So thank you for those reminders. I will personally take them to heart in good memory. And I could say more, but at this time, I respectfully choose to hand over to Director Siobhan.
Thank you so much, Corey. Good evening, everyone. I see that everyone has had a good time, but it's even better time when we could win stuff. So without further ado, I will first like to present our door prize winner. So if possible, could I get a little drum roll? For the first person to register for our session is Ashonal Tate. Is she on?
Ashanel.
Okay, is she on?
Yes, please, I'm here.
Congratulations, you've won a nice bottle of wine, so I really hope that you like it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of our presentation. Now we're on to our breakout room winners. So I hope you guys volunteer. If you didn't know you were winning things, I am so sorry. I am so sorry, but for breakout room 1, please forgive me because I'm not sure I will pronounce your name correctly, but from breakout room 1 with Melanie, this is your first winner is, no, actually, let me start from number 3. Your third place winner is Desiree. Congratulations, Desiree. Your second place winner is, she wins a 50% off voucher from Emery's Eatery. Your second place winner is Corey. Congratulations, Corey. You won a bottle of wine. And our first place winner, please forgive me if I call your name wrong, is Eustace. I don't know. Pardon?
Eustacious.
Eustacious. Congratulations. You've won an 8-ounce candle from Candles for Culture. On to breakout room number 2. Our third place winner, he didn't get to finish, but he was so good. Malawi, congratulations. You have won a 15% off voucher from Emery's Eatery. Our second place winner, who was really, really on point. She was really good. Shanice. She's not feeling well, but she did a great job. Congratulations, Shanice. I hope when you feel better that you can enjoy this bottle of wine. Or maybe the bottle of wine may make you feel better. Who knows? And our first place winner, who almost brought the house to tears, is Ramon.
Go, Ramon, go, Ramon, go.
He raised an 8-ounce soy candle from Candles for the Culture. So thank you guys for participating. I popped in and out of the rooms and these guys were just killing it. Melanie and Melissa, you did a great job. And for doing such a fantastic job, we also have gifts for you. So from Melanie and Melissa, you will be walking away for all your hard work in this educational session we had today with 1 bookmark from Milestone Memories, a 50% off voucher from Victoriske Designs, and a bottle of wine each. So thank you so much for coming out this evening and sharing with us. I mean, you could have been anywhere, but thank you so much for coming out, sharing this information and educating our members and our general public who took the time out to join us this evening. Just thank you, thank you, thank you on behalf of the Pro-Dev committee.
You are welcome and thank you very much for having us.
You're welcome. Sorry, I'll now hand you over to my neurotdirector, my eager beaver, Blair Dean.
Thank you so much, Director Siobhan. So I'm just going to present a little thank you to all those who made today possible. So on behalf of the Professional Development Committee, drum roll, and the Rotaract Club of Barbados, I extend a heartfelt thank you to our panelists, Mrs. Melissa Savory Gittins from the Toastmasters Club and our very own ILO, Miss Melanie Goodridge, who is also a Toastmasters member. Melissa and Melanie, we thank you for taking the time to enlighten us on how we can overcome these common fears faced when public speaking. And I know certainly I have taken a lot away from this, and I know that others have too. To our sponsors, we thank you for your donations. Milestone Memories, we thank you for the lovely bookmarks. Candles for Culture for the candle vouchers. Victory Designs and E-Marie Eatery for the discount vouchers, and Grapevine and our very own Rotaractor Jamar for the bottles of wine. We also thank PM Zaina and Director Zachary for their assistance in organizing these fantastic donations. To the entire project committee and all volunteers who worked tirelessly in making this project a success, we thank you. We also wish to thank AD Keisha for leading this entire initiative and Director Siobhan for her support every step of the way. We could not have done this without you. Your efforts and constant support are much appreciated. To the scenario committee, we commend you for your very, very, very creative thinking, and that is to say the least. To the project execution committee, AD Kavita and team, thank you for your tireless efforts and hard work in putting this project together. Everything is lovely. To our attendees with us this evening, this would not have been possible without you. Thank you. I do hope you're even more equipped to engage in public speaking going forward, and you are confident in all of your speeches, those, whether it be planned, impromptu, all of your speeches, just having a conversation with your management, your directors, anything. Take care and stay safe. I will now hand over to PE Scott, who will now discuss any other business and any notices. Thanks. PE Scott, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. So good afternoon, everyone. Great session. Though I was multitasking, I was still listening on some of the breakout rooms. Melissa, you were very good in your breakout room. The engagement there was very nice.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So in terms of updates, we have our ongoing charity raffle. Club members, each persons are to each members to sell at least 5 tickets. We are almost halfway through our first batch. So contact myself or Director Zachary for your tickets. Tomorrow is World Polio Day. Those who have not been vaccinated fully come out to our office site at Emerald City, where we'll be there from 10 to 4, just to educate persons on the importance of vaccines. We also have our polio as well. If anyone wishes to have any, reach out to me and to Emerald City for collection. Later on today, after we've learned how to speak publicly very well, now we're going into come in to financial planning. So our sister club, Rotaract Club of Barbados West, is having their financial planning session or ongoing currently. So just go over to their IG page and tune in. And that's it for the updates on my end.
Scott, you know, say over to you.
I don't know who I'm overing to, so I guess it'll be Kavita.
No, it's actually you, because you're gonna take the photo.
I see. Okay, no problem. Let me stop share. All right, so everyone, just put on your cameras if you can.
Oh, let's see those faces.
Unfortunately, I am not in a position to turn on mine, so sorry about that. Everyone's. Give me a sec. Okay, so on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Have a smile. All right, just give me 1 sec. All right, next screenshot. Again, 1, 2, 3. Smile. All right, Janelle, love India. Nice. All right. Okay. So everyone, that's it on me.
Thank you everyone for coming out. We all had a fantastic time and take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye,
everyone. Forward to the next one.